We're expecting maybe 1,000 people on there. 1,000 women and black women have convened this call for actually almost in the last 4 years. It was founded by Joteka Edie and called Win with Black Women. And there were over 45,000. I like to tell people we broke the internet. I've gotten those phone calls around the country. Matter of fact, there are some candidates that have, since Kamala has announced running, there's been an increase in their fundraising, right? I think that I think women are activated.
Women are activated. That was Latasha Brown, founder of the group Black Voters Matter, on the wave of enthusiasm for Vice President Kamala Harris as she takes on Donald Trump, which appears to be lifting candidates down ballot as well, she said there. Joining our coverage, Democratic Congressman Jim Clyburn of South Carolina, who has endorsed Vice President Harris for president. Congressman, thank you so much for being here. The conversation in private over the last 4 weeks has really revolved around you and where your thoughts are and where your heart is. And I know you're one of the closest advisors and dear friends to President Joe Biden. Just tell us your understanding of how this came to be, this extraordinary political sacrifice from a man who spent his life in public service and really laying his hands and his trust and his confidence in his Vice President Kamala Harris, something that has just taken off, as my colleague Rachel likes to say, making weather of its own.
Well, thank you very much for having me. As you know, last week I spent 2 full days in Nevada with President Biden. We did the NAACP National Convention together, the largest convention they've ever had, the National Bar Association, which is basically the black bar, and some other meetings together with Steve Horsford, the congressman from that area. And as I interacted with President Biden, having been around him as much as I've been for so many years, I knew he was in deep contemplation. And so when I got the call from him on Sunday, before he went public with his announcement, I was not surprised at all. And I told him that I was in complete agreement with his decision, and that I would hope that as he made his exit from the campaign, that he would reinforce his very first decision that he made when he became our nominee, and that was to pick a running mate. He picked Kamala Harris after extensive vetting, and he said at the time that he thought that she had what it took to step into the office on a moment's notice if anything were to happen to him. And so I said to him, I would hope you would reinforce that when you leave the stage. And he told me that he would put out a separate statement, maybe 30 minutes after the first one, to let his feelings to be known about the nomination. And that's what he did. And I'm very pleased that he selected her, because I've been saying for weeks now, if for any reason he were to exit the stage, I would, in fact, support Kamala Harris to be our nominee.
One of the things that people who don't watch these two principals very closely might have missed is their genuine affection for one another. And I think it's disorienting for folks on the other side, because Donald Trump left his vice president to be, quote, hung, end quote, on January 6th. But we all got to see it yesterday when President Biden called into the event at Wilmington headquarters. And you could hear it from the second gentleman, Doug Emhoff. You heard it from the vice president and the president sort of riffing with each other. He said, "I'm watching you, kid." What is your what do you envision for the next 100 days? How can President Biden make sure that Vice President Harris prevails in November?
Well, he's going to do everything he possibly can to help her in this election. I listened to those conversations on yesterday, and I've been around the two of them. They do have genuine affection for each other. And I noticed Jill seemed to feel the same way about Kamala as well. And so I think you're going to see a campaign full of love and affection, demonstrating to the American people what a real campaign ought to be about. Focus on the future. She is leaning into the future of this great country of ours. We don't need to make this country great. It's already great. What we've got to do, I've been saying forever, is to make the greatnesses of this country accessible and affordable for all of its citizens. And that's what Joe Biden has done his entire career. It is all wrapped up in his legislative programs that he's been so successful with. And she is going to wrap herself up into those programs as well. She has a tremendous platform. It is called the record of the Biden-Harris administration. It is a platform that she can run on, and it's a platform that I think she will succeed by running on it. So I think he will lean in heavily on her behalf. Those of us who are in this effort, now it's time for us to go to work. I think we have a candidate now. She has the votes that are necessary to make it official when the voting starts somewhere after August 1st. And we need to start planning now as to how we will get those people who aren't registered to vote, and those people who are in fact registered, get them to the polls to vote. That we must not take for granted, because there are forces who would love to take this country backward, not just back, but backward. And we have got to guard against that.
Congressman, what do you hope to hear tomorrow night when your friend, President Joe Biden, addresses the nation?
You know, I usually, for big events like this, I try to go home and sit alone to watch and listen. I think that's what I'm going to do tomorrow night. And I often joke with people that that's what I do in election nights, because I don't want anybody to see me cry if the results call for that. That's how I'm going to be tomorrow night. I'm going to watch this alone because I don't want anybody to see me cry, because it will be a very emotional time for me to see Joe Biden give what will be his swan song. And quite frankly, it makes me a little bit emotional to even talk about it.
You just made me cry. I mean, I worry sometimes that we've changed as a country because we've covered so much hardening and so much hate. And the affection that you and President Biden have for each other, and that President Biden and Vice President Harris and that you have with both of them, is one of the beautiful things that I think makes people still believe and still fight and do all the things that you just articulated. Your place in all of this is so important and so vital, and probably by your design, probably a bit of a mystery to the public, but we're on to you. So we'll respect your privacy tomorrow. We'll respect your privacy tomorrow night, but we hope to call on you early and often in the coming days and weeks. Congressman Jim Clyburn, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, I didn't have crying at 37 after the hour on my bingo card, but so it has come to pass. Up next.